How did this finals affect Steph's overall legacy?
Shannon, I've loved Steph
Yes.
Curry, but I cannot tell a lie. This once again does further damage to his legacy, to his long-term reputation. Because, as Jen points out, that's 5 finals with 0 MVPs for a 2-time regular season MVP. And
Correct.
I'll give you this. He scored 47 points in a home game 3. And yet, I told you it was such a quiet 47. It was more twos and free throws, and they never were able to cut the deficit to within more than 7 points. And then
Correct.
we saw him make the biggest three-point shot of his playoff life in Game 5 at Toronto to tie the game, but he had been 1 for 8 in the second half up to that point from 3. And
Yes.
this proved to me once again that he comes up smallest when his team needed him most. Because, as I told you earlier, in his playoff career now, he's 0 for 8 on field goal attempts to go ahead in a game in the final 20 seconds in playoff games. Well, that's not very good, and they got him a great look last night under the circumstances, and he missed that 3. By his standards, he missed it badly. It didn't even have a chance to go down. So we
Skip,
look
that's
at
terrible for a guy.
Go ahead.
Skip, not to cut you off, but for you said he's 0-8 in the last 20 seconds. Skip, for a guy that's the greatest shooter in the history of the NBA,
We all
that
agree.
is awful.
Yep. So then we look at what did he do in the fourth quarter last night? He went 1 for 6 and 0 of 4 from 3 without his running mate, Klay Thompson. When they needed him most, he just wasn't there for them. And what did he do in Game 2? They won in spite of him because Klay went down with 8 minutes left at Toronto, and Steph couldn't even get a shot up over the last 8 minutes, couldn't even get to the free throw line.
Right.
And now I look at the totality of this 6-game series. He shot 34% from 3 in this series. Well, he's like a 50% three-point shooter. And in the fourth quarter of these 6 games, he shot 17% from 3. Holy moly, as his new show is going to be called. That's horrendously bad for him. And
Yeah.
then remember,
Yes.
to keep this in the big picture context, he was the biggest reason for that history-making collapse that they suffered up 3-1 on LeBron's team back in 2016. And remember, in games 5 through 7, when they blew the lead, he was 30% from the field and 25% from 3. So we've seen this act before. And in that Game 7 that year,
Yes.
that's his home game at Oracle. He goes 6 of 19, and in the fourth quarter, he goes 1 of 6 from the field and 1 of 5 from 3. Well, we've seen it before, and we saw it again last night. And I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, but these are bad tidings for a guy who's that great a shooter.
Skip, I want to disagree with you, but I can't. Skip, I was willing to go as far as say if Steph Curry were to win the finals and he's finals MVP, I might be willing to put him in front of Magic, considering what he would have been able to accomplish. But if you remember, Skip, Magic had moments. We remember in 80, his rookie year, Game 6, 42, 15, and 7.
No.
We also remember in 84, Skip, the baby Kareem, the baby Sky Hook. Magic had moments in playoff in the finals that we'll never forget. We keep waiting for Steph to have those type moments. We know what he represents in the regular season. We know he can shoot the ball from distance better than anybody before him, and maybe anybody's even to come after him. But we have yet to see it. Now, he's been in the finals 5 times. He suffered, 2 defeats, and in the 3 wins, even if you give him, Skip, even if you say, okay, he deserved the first one, they gave it to Iggy because of what he did with the next 2, Kevin Durant was head and shoulders the best player on that team.
Agreed.
And more than deserved to be the finals MVP.
Yep.
You make a very compelling argument if they get to Game 7 and they win, and the way it's going, Klay is probably going to be the MVP. Because here's the thing people probably don't know. In their 2 wins, Klay has scored the most points. Klay was the leading scorer in their 2 wins. Klay shot 58% from the three-point line, Skip. And Steph, for whatever reason, we keep waiting. We touched on it in the last segment, Skip. You can't shoot the ball like he can for distance. And when the rubber needs to meet the road,
Yep.
they put the ball in your hand and say deliver, and you drop it. You can't drop the eggs on the way to the market
No.
because we put them all in your basket, Steph. Skip, this was, if he gets to a game 7 and they lose, it's a little ding, but I think, like, did we really expect Steph to beat Toronto with Kawhi and all those role players
True.
playing exceptionally well?
Yep.
When he doesn't have Clay, he doesn't have KD? No. But Skip, you got to get him to a game 7. He scored 4 points once Clay got injured. Skip, that's not good enough.
I agree.
It was Iggy that was keeping him in the game. It was Draymond and Boogie. I'm like, Steph, this is your moment. This is your time to shine. You can't be relying on Iggy and Boogie Cousins. Where is Steph? And Steph wasn't to be seen. Skip, this is bad. As much as you look, LeBron had that awful in 2010, I believe it was, Skip, against the Mavs. And he's lost a lot of finals since then, but you can never say he didn't play big. He's been unbelievable. We keep waiting on Steph to have that moment minus KD. And I'm not so, guess what, Skip? KD would have been favored again to win finals MVP, and they would have won. I believe they probably would have swept the Raptors at worst case, winning 5 games, and Kevin Durant would have been finals MVP, and we still have the very same questions we have today.
Yep.
When is Steph ever going to win a finals MVP, and can he ever be a Pantheon great? Because, Skip, 4 and 5 years with a finals MVP and 2 MVPs, I think you have to start making that question. But that's a question for another day now.
So you know what hurt my soul even more than Kevin Durant leaving Russell Westbrook to join forces with the Golden State Warriors was that Steph allowed it. Steph embraced it. It hurt my heart that Steph Curry, a 2-time, he'd just been unanimous MVP, said, you know what? We need that guy. Well, that I didn't want to acknowledge it at the time, but I think he was really telling everybody, I'm really good, but I'm not that guy. And he sort of publicly admitted what he wasn't when you lead the charge to go to the Hamptons to recruit Kevin Durant? Really? You need that?
Skip, you know when I talk sports, a lot of times I put things in I use analogies and I put it into relationship terms. Skip, it's hard to say no to J-Lo if you're in a relationship and your relationship's on shaky ground. If you're steadfast, you've been married for 10, 15 years, and that's been your best friend, you either, J-Lo, get up out of here. Steph knew he was on shaky ground. He saw what just happened to him.
Yep.
LeBron and Kyrie pulled off the all-timer, down 3-1, and they come back and take it. So if your relationship's on shaky ground, it's easy for someone to attract your attention. It's easy for someone to get your eye. But when you're steady, boy, you stand fast. I don't worry about all this other stuff. I got tunnel vision. See, Ernestine sleep good at night. She said, I know I got Skip Bayless' undivided attention. I'm his best friend, and nobody else going to put up with his bull jive like I will.
I hope she thinks that. Well. No, you're right. And I agree with all that. And yet, you have made the point repeatedly that what drove Kevin Durant the craziest in Golden State was he just realized right away, this is never going to be my town and my team. It's Steph's. And he is the baby-faced assassin who's not really an assassin. In the end, he can assassinate you in little ways, but not in the biggest way. And so I'm going to assume that KD's going to be gone, in part because he knows it's really Steph's territory, right?
But Skip, this is what drives KD the craziest. He's like, I'm so much better than this cat. And y'all still won't give me what I deserve. Y'all see this? Every big shot that we needed to make in the finals since I've been here, I've come up clutch. And y'all still heap the praise. Bob Myers is on stage during the parade heaping praise on Steph Curry.
He was.
And KD like, really? Yep. Did I just drop 43 in a game 3?
That is
true. Did I just hit the shot of the shots? And you over here talking about this cat? Remember, y'all put the call in. Y'all came to see me. Y'all interrupted my vacation in Sag Harbor.
True.
And now y'all won't give me the credit that I rightfully deserve. That's what, Skip, when you know you're better and everybody else knows you're better, but they still heap praise on the guy that you know you're better than, and the guy himself knows that you're better than him. Skip, that would drive me crazy also. I'm sorry. You know, I give Kevin Durant a hard time like but it would drive me crazy, Skip. If I know I'm better, the guy knows I'm better, and everybody else knows I'm better, but you just look down on me because you say, well, you are better, but why'd you join him?
Yeah, and
Yeah, you
again,
can beat that guy up, but
yeah, you're not trying to suggest that they hate each other because I think they're really close,
No,
Steph
no,
and
no, no,
KD.
no.
But
Yes,
I
they
think
are.
in
Yes,
KD's
yes.
heart of hearts, he's not going to say it publicly. He's thinking what you're thinking. He just watched Fred Van Vliet basically shut down Steph Curry in fourth quarter after fourth quarter, and Fred Van Vliet's about 6 feet tall. I don't think he's more than 6 feet, and Steph's 6'3".
maybe.
Yeah, so
Maybe.
I don't know.
But
Finally,
that's,
some
Skip, that just
consensus
goes
between y'all, and
A
some
good big man.
smiles out of Skip.
Yep.
But you know what, Shannon?
with the exception of Jordan, you're always going to take the good big
Yeah, I
man
know.
over the good little man.
Yep.
That's always the case.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.